Yeah, Tyler, you're right. It's not often that I sit here and watch C-SPAN. It's been a few years, but there's something very important for the veterans of our country, especially those specifically that were stationed and lived at or near Camp Lejeune. A bill is being voted on as we speak. It's called the VA Benefits for Toxic Exposed Veterans. And it looks like it's going to pass. I can tell you what is really inspiring to me is in this current climate, it's hard to get people to agree on anything. Bipartisanship has seemed to have, excuse me, I'm listening to the votes as they come in right now. It's hard to ever find bipartisanship, and it looks like we have, and it's great to see that on behalf of our veterans who are so deserving of this, that the bill has the votes. It's not done. It's 75-13. So there is no turning back from the Senate. So real good news today for the veterans of our country.
So Tor, well, one thing, I believe the bill is still the Honoring Our PACT of 2021. It's probably just your double duty looking at that C-SPAN while you're reading that.
Well, they have it up. That's what they have it up as on C-SPAN.
Let me ask you this: you've been litigating longer than I have. In the time that you've litigated, have you ever seen a bill like this?
No. Usually when it's a sort of government-sponsored bill, they'll try to set up a fund. They'll try to set up situations where there's caps and limitations on that fund, sort of a, frankly, government-friendly type of situation. This is the first time, Todd, that I've seen something that is truly taking the veterans into consideration and really respecting their rights to be compensated for the injuries that have occurred and the wrongs that have happened in the past. So it's like I said, it's inspiring to see it happen. It's the right thing to do. And no, this is the most inclusive bill that I've seen for our veterans.
Since you're watching live, I mean, is this a heavily disputed bill? Is it barely going to pass? What are we looking at?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's not barely going to pass. The votes are 75-13 as we speak, which again is just a wonderful testament to the way our country should, and apparently at least today does look at our veterans and respect our veterans. So a good day.
Historic day. I mean, you know this. We've taken cases against the government. They often have immunity. There are challenges that you can't, sometimes you can't foresee. But my understanding is a lot of that's washed away in this bill. That they are actually going to let these soldiers have their day in court and present a true case without the typical defenses you see from the government.
That's right. They did not build in those typical defenses. And, again, it means a lot. I come from, I don't know if you know this, but my dad was 26 years in the Navy. Senator Cruz voted yes. But my dad was 26 years Navy. I grew up for a while on Navy bases before he retired. Most of the time I spent was in Great Lakes. My wife's grandfather was actually at Camp Lejeune and died of, believe it or not, lung cancer, never smoked. So, to see this today means a lot to the legacy of our families. It means a lot to the veterans, and frankly, to me a little bit personally. Another yes vote, 77-13. But it's something that hits close to home, and I know that our firm am very excited, like I said, inspired to get to work on behalf of the many veterans that are suffering from certain diseases, cancers, Parkinson's disease, mothers that have had problems birthing children, and that true compensation is available to them. I'm excited about it.
So what's the next step? Now that we know that this bill is going to pass, where do we go from here?
The next step is Senator Hawley from Missouri, also a yes. The next step is we need to get with our clients We need a form that is filled out. Many of you, if you're looking at this in a client, many of our clients have already completed the information that needs to be part of that form. We will get that on file, so to speak. We'll get that claim submitted, and then the government will have some time to look at it. And if they choose not to try to take care of that claim, then we'll have the ability to file it into court as if it were sort of any other lawsuit without limitation.
All right. Well, now all we got to do is hope for, not even hope at this point, watch the votes to continue to come in, and then wait for it to get to President Biden's desk, I guess, to put his ink on it.
Yeah. In fairness, I believe procedurally, and I'm not a legislative procedure expert. I do consider myself to be a litigation expert, but not a legislative procedure expert. But I think because there was an amendment that it's got to go back to the House, there's little doubt that the House is going to pass it almost immediately, and then it's got to make its way to President Biden's desk for signature. There doesn't appear to be any further impediments to this, so we can start moving forward and preparing as if this bill is law.
All right.
Good.
I've never seen anything like it before, and I mean that with sincerity. This is the first time I've ever seen a bill like this. So I agree with you. This is pretty incredible.
In so many times, when I was a Navy brat, is what they called me. The VA hospitals weren't very well staffed. They weren't very well taken care of. It was sort of right after Vietnam, and there was a bit of a disrespect for our military, and you could feel that somewhat, even as a kid. I could feel that. And I loved growing up on the Navy base. I played Little League there. We had an incredible Little League. I was coached by, a bunch of Navy men, people that worked under my dad, were under his command. Great people all the way across the board. I really loved my experience on the base. But from a veteran's perspective, sometimes you try to avoid the veterans hospitals. Sometimes you try to avoid even, some of the benefits became difficult. I'm hoping that has changed fully. And to see it go from my experience to this, where they're going to try to really treat veterans better and with respect and take care of them the way they should be taken care of, is just, frankly, an awesome thing for me to see. And my father, who passed away, he made it to 96. He would have really loved. I'm not, no exaggeration. He would have loved to have seen this. He would have loved to have seen this. And I'm sure that Jesse's grandfather, Pound Case, a Marine, would have loved to have seen this as well. So they're inspired from wherever they are.
Yeah, it's a great thing to say. It's one thing to always say we honor our vets and we need to take care of them, and it's another thing to actually do it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Couldn't have said it better. Okay, 81.